Virgo 25, a flag at half-mast. It's a very exceptional thing for a country to use its very special emblem, the flag, to mark the specialness of a person who has died. It's the highest honor that a country really bestows upon its special people. Very rarely given indeed. So this whole degree is discussing community approval. Now the community has its own evolutionary interests. It wants to grow in strength and importance and wealth and influence in the world. The purposes, therefore, of a community is to respect and honor the various people that can further its own interests. And this doesn't depend upon their qualities particularly. Very few countries celebrate their poets and artists as much as their military commanders and efficient politicians. So the respect that we get from our community is not based on our qualities, but is based on our achievements. So we have to be effective. We have to have an effect. We have to make a difference, or we're honored in passing, perhaps in a casual way, but certainly not given the ultimate honor of the flag at half-mast. And there are other tokens of this kind. In Britain, for example, we like to give people titles like My Lord this and Earl that and Duke whatever, and this is like, how royalty dispenses its influence by giving people who have been helpful in furthering the cause of the country. It's the same principle. And these are the same people that probably would get the flag at half-mast, typically. So, what is it that we have to do in order to receive the respect and the recognition of our community? Scale it down a little bit. Let's not talk about the country recognizing us, but just our community. What does the community want of us? And once again, I think we don't really look for qualities. It may be that the qualities within us give rise to abilities that create achievements. That's our business, but the business of the community is to measure our achievements. And certain people do service for the community, and those are the ones likely to receive the recognition of the community. Somebody who has instigated a social project, and perhaps they have their name written on the local hospital, and that kind of thing occurs. And once again, it comes down to this whole question of effectiveness. If we want recognition, we have to be effective. We have to make it work. Now, spiritual teachings tend towards the exaltation of qualities. Is he a good person, a kind person, a loving person, a truthful person? Is she helpful, of service? Is she compassionate and patient? So we look for qualities in people on some level. But the community's evolutionary purpose goes beyond that. It must measure effectiveness. Evolution occurs because something has mattered. It's made a difference in the material world. So in order for us to gain recognition from our community now, rather than our close circle of friends, we need to do it right. We need to do something and to do it right. And almost inevitably, it includes this element of service. We have to be effective in serving the community to gain recognition. This word recognition is interesting. Recognition, knowing again. Recognition, in the true sense of the word, is us remembering what we have forgotten about who we are. When we incarnate, our memory of what preceded the incarnation is obliterated. And the minority reawaken that memory through spiritual practice, and the majority either believe that it must be so or forget it entirely. So very few people have a sense of who they really are. So we need to recognize ourselves, and for that to occur, we need to be recognized by society, typically. If this process depends, and it does, upon demonstrating our ability to serve, it must be understood, we can infer from this, that the act of serving the community efficiently re-establishes who we are, in the longest term sense of the word, who we were before incarnation, who we will be after we leave this world, that sense of the eternal self. So we are talking about soul qualities, and yet we're talking about the reach of the soul, the ability of the soul to make a difference. And this depends upon the light that we hold. Now, some souls are really radiant of light. Some are magnificently radiant, and some are not. Their light is dim. Those who have a very radiant light, a very powerful eminence of radiance, they make a difference somehow. They somehow magnetically draw resources and people and good fortune into their situations and make a difference. That's how this magnetic quality of light operates. The magnetism and magnetism and light are not really different things. It's just we're describing energy, and we can use the word energy as well. So somebody's life force, their energy, quantity, their ability to grasp life and get on with it, that force of life is its own magnetism. It creates an effect. It creates an electricity, actually. It motivates things, and things occur then. So, all in all, the flag at half-mast is a recognition that this person who has just passed was a great soul. You know, there was a soul of some magnitude of radiant light. It's not saying whether they were good people or bad people by any judgment. The community approves of them, but that doesn't make them good people. Quite a few people that have done some terrible, horrible things have flags raised at half-mast. So this is nothing to do with our qualities of spiritual awakening. This is to do with our power as a soul. Not all souls are brought to earth to do what we would consider good on earth. The idea of good and bad is only something we care about down here on earth. In the other realms, it's a silly idea. Energy is energy, positive and negative, and useful or not useful for a purpose. Bad and good doesn't come into it. So the great souls are recognized here on earth, whether they are good or bad people. And it's meaningful for us to develop our greatness of being. We can either recognize that we have that and bring it to life, or we can actually develop it further by taking creative steps, taking risks, being audacious, being outrageous, taking on a burden that nobody else will take on, and succeeding. And therein lies the rub. Whatever we try, we have to succeed. And if you can't do something, then, well, learn or don't try. It is really foolish to fail. It's good to go through a trial and error process. I'm not saying that level of failure, but the track of your life is a success. It must be a success. You have to come here to achieve something. So get on with it, achieve it.